Today, I'm going to show you how you can do a baby Botox facial with the Hydro Needle. I'm using Botulox 200, which I will mix with saline, and I'm going to be putting this into the Hydro Needle and stamping it in various places on my face. Botulox 200 is a form of botulinum toxin. In your box of Botulox, you will find the instructions. I would recommend reading these instructions to understand if you are an appropriate candidate for Botulox before starting your baby Botox facial. When you open your box of Botulox, you will get a tiny sealed jar that looks like this, and it will have a dried powder at the bottom. I'm going to show you how to mix this with saline so that it becomes a liquid that you can then apply to your face. Now, I am not a medical professional, so I am not going to be injecting the Botulox today. I'm going to be using it with the Hydro Needle. The Hydro Needle is a one-time use microneedling device that contains a chamber that you can fill with a liquid of your choice. And then it has a top portion with very fine needles that will stamp whatever you put into the chamber underneath your skin. The Hydro Needle does come sterilized, although I always soak mine in 70% alcohol just to be on the safe side. Based on my needs, I'm going to be using about 20 units of Botulox for my baby Botox facial. I'm going to take sterilized saline solution and mix it very gently into the Botulox container. I will then take my syringe and draw up just 0.5 milliliters of the Botulox solution and place it into the Dermastamp. You can also mix hyaluronic acid, skin boosters, or a very low viscosity facial filler into your Hydro Needle along with the Botulox. I remove the Hydro Needle from the packaging, twist off the cap, remove the lid, and I place both the chamber and the needle cartridge into some isopropyl alcohol. Before starting any procedure like this, I always clean my hands with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. So I take my syringe and my saline. All you do is just twist the top off the saline. I'm drawing a full syringe of saline. Remove the top cap from the Botulox. You can see that the lid has a metal collar, but underneath there is plastic. I'm going to clean this area with alcohol. Now, according to the instructions, it's very important that when you are adding the saline to the Botulox, that you minimize the amount of bubbles that get into the bottle. So I'm going to just very slowly depress the plunger on this syringe as I'm adding the saline to the Botulox. Now I've put 3 mils of saline solution into the Botulox container. I need to put another 2 to make 5. And you can see that the plunger just very, very gently moves down the syringe and the saline just very, very gently drips in. So I just give this just a little swirl. I can see that at the bottom it's clear, so everything has been dissolved. And I'm ready to withdraw the amount of Botox that I'm going to be using for my baby Botox facial. It's always very important to make sure that you are working with a clean face when you're doing this type of treatment. So I'm going to take this alcohol pad and clean the areas where I'm going to be using the Hyaluronic. The areas that I'm going to be focusing on today will be my forehead, around my eyes, and the area above my upper lip. So the reason why I'm using the Hydra needle to administer this baby Botox is because I'm not looking for a really intense result from this facial. I just want to see some fine lines smoothed, pores are going to look smaller, and I really just don't want to run the risk of looking unnatural or not having as expressive a face as I normally do. So I've had Botox before, and I'm not a huge fan of how much it freezes my facial muscles and really sort of takes away some of the expression in my face. So that's why I wanted to try the baby Botox facial with the Hydra needle today. Okay, so my Hydra needle is sterilized with the alcohol, and I'm going to be taking just 0.5 milliliters of this Botulinum for a total of 20 units. Very small amount. So I put that into the Hydra needle jar. And then I'm adding 1 milliliter of hyaluronic acid. Now the hyaluronic acid is quite a bit thicker than the Botulinum. So once I replace the lid, I'm going to give it a good shake. Okay, so the Botulinum and the hyaluronic acid is all mixed and ready to go. So I hope this is close enough for you to see what I'm doing, but this is really quite simple. I'm just going to be placing the Hydra needle at a 90-degree angle to my skin and stamping. And I'm not numb. And this is very comfortable. And I'm going to be really focusing on the areas where I have some of those fine lines and wrinkles. So right in between my eyebrows and then above my eyebrows. I'm using the 1 millimeter depth on the Hydra needle. You don't have to press very hard. So as you can see, I've been focusing on this area here and then above on my forehead as well. So you can see that my eyes are watering just a little bit. It does smart just a bit. It's funny, every time I do this, it actually makes me sneeze for some reason. So if my eyes are watering, it's because I just sneezed. So So I'm gonna do just a little bit more on my forehead, and then I'm gonna move down to my eye area and then around my mouth. And you can see there's just like the teeniest little bit of pinpoint bleeding up there, but other than just like a mild discomfort, this is very tolerable. Okay, moving on to my eye area, I'm just gonna be stamping just along the sides and underneath. This is an area where I am starting to get a few more wrinkles. Do you see that? Just those smile lines. And really, this is just preventative. I don't mind seeing those lines when I smile, but I just don't want them to become static lines or lines that are there when I'm not smiling. And you can stamp gently here. You don't have to press hard. Okay, I would say that I have almost half of the bottle left still. I'm going to start sort of up at the nasolabial folds because I have some enlarged pores in that area, and just move down to the lines around my mouth. You always want to make sure that you have liquid in the bottom. That's why I'm kind of tilting my head back, because if you don't have liquid at the end of the cartridge, it will not be coming out. And then this part is probably the least comfortable on top of your lip. But just stamp lightly. You can see there's some redness and a couple little marks there where there's a bit of bleeding. And we're almost done. Tiny little bit left. I'm just going to finish it up on my forehead. So if this is your first time microneedling or using the Hydra needle, you may want to pick up some numbing cream. And I'm not numb, but it's a little prickly and uncomfortable. So don't feel like you have to be a champ for your first time. Go ahead, get that numbing cream and be comfortable. Okay, so that was my very first attempt at doing a baby Botox facial. Like I said, it really was not all that uncomfortable. So it was very easy. The instructions are pretty straightforward in the Botulinum box, and there's been no downtime. So other than just like a little bit of redness, there really isn't any downtime with this sort of treatment. I hope you found this helpful, and if you have any comments, please let us know. And you can check in with me to see the results on my YouTube channel, Collagen Nation. Bye.